In this video, we're going to be running you guys through an example grass cut order as submitted through the Pruvan application on your smartphone. This is for an Android device only, and keep in mind that with a variety of different devices and also as we improve the program itself, some of these screens may be slightly different, but the same concepts are still going to apply. First of all, you're going to log into your account. You'll see your open orders right here. You can scroll up and down to select the correct property that you're actually at. In this example, we're going to use the order ending in 634. Click on that once. It will bring you to a screen like this. First, before you do anything further, double check that you're actually in the correct order ending in 634 and that you're actually at this correct address. Again, we're going to check in the bottom left hand corner on this button right here. We're going to click it once, and this will tell us if there's any additional notes in the order, such as rush fees or revised deadlines or anything extra. If not, click the OK once. Next, we will click next to grass recut one time. This will actually bring us to our first question. Every time we answer a question, we want to do 4 different things. First, we're going to read what it's asking us to take a photo of. Second, we're going to look at the minimum number of photos required for this, in this case 1. Third, we're going to make sure that this blank area right here is filled in with the word required. And fourth, we're actually going to click the camera button down here one time and take the number of photos. After we've done those 4 things, we come back to this screen and click the next button right here to go on to the next question. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click this blank area right here. A drop-down menu will come, and we will click the word required one time. Now it will look like this. Next, we'll click the camera button, and again, we need to take 1 photo for this question. So after we click the camera button, we'll bring us to this screen right here. You have your photo lined up. Click this button right here one time to take a photo. Take your photos. As you can see, it's actually letting you know that some of your photos are in line to be uploaded right now. After you've done taking the photos that you need for this question, hit the back button one time on your device. Now you can see that we've met both the requirements for each question you want to do. First of all, this field is no longer blank, it has the word required. And second of all, this wording right here is no longer colored red, it's now colored green, and it's actually telling us that we've taken 4 photos, which is equal to or greater than the minimum, which is 1. After we've done that, we're going to click the next button right here. Now we're at our next question. Again, we're going to read what it's asking a question for. We're going to look at the number of photos that are required, in this case 1. We're going to click this drop-down menu so that it shows the word require and is no longer blank. And then fourth, we're going to click the photo button down here, take our photos, and come back before we go to the next question. So in this, we've actually started to open the drop-down menu and fill out the required. Next, we go to the screen, take our photos. After we've done that, we come back. Everything looks as it should. Required is in this field, and this text is green. It's actually telling us that we've taken 2, which is greater or equal than the minimum of 1 photo. We click the next button, and it brings us to our next set of questions. For these questions that it asks you, you want to make sure you're referring to your grass cut guidelines so that you know when you're allowed to click no or yes for some of these situations depending on what you find. In this case, we're going to click yes, and then next. We're going to click no, and then next. We're going to click no, and then next. And now one of the more detailed questions in this survey is going to ask us to take before, during, and after photos. Again, you want to consult your grass cut guidelines and possibly your photo checklist to make sure that you're taking everything that would be required in terms of before, during, and after photos. This question actually requires us to take a minimum of 20, but you should probably be closer to 30 photos for a grass cut. Also, keep in mind that as you're progressing through your questions, there's actually a little indicator right here at the bottom. It will let you know your progress throughout this order. So in the beginning, this blue indicator was actually at the far left. Now we're a little bit halfway through the order, so it's in the middle, and then as you're almost finished, it will be towards the end. So for this question, we're going to take our 20 photos, make sure that this blank area is filled out with the word required, and then we're going to make sure that this text up here is green before we click next. So we're going to click our drop-down menu, select required, go into the photo, take our photos. Everything looks as it should. We've taken at least 20 of the 20 required, and then we click next. In this answer, we click yes for this example. Click no for this example. Now it's asking us, or giving us an opportunity to enter any additional work order notes that we want to share with your regional coordinator. A common example might be that you noted something unusual while you're at the property. You would want to consult your grass cut guidelines for specific instructions on this. So you would click on the blank area, type in your notes, and hit enter. Click next. Now we're at another question. It's asking us to take a photo. It's giving us a minimum number of photos required. We need to fill out this field so that it shows required, and we click this button to take our photos. After we're done, everything looks like this. It's green colored text. This is filled in with required, and we have our photos in there. We click next. Now we're actually at one of the last screens you see before you submit the order. This is just a brief summary of some of the choices you made as the questions were asking you. And again, like we discussed earlier, the status bar is now to the far right to show that you're at the end of this order. You're welcome to click here and drag to the left as a quick way to go back to some earlier questions and see how you answered. You could also click the left or right buttons to go back and forward between questions. And so once we're done, we're actually going to do two things before we submit this order. The first thing we're going to do is click Submit Survey one time. This is not all that you need to do to turn in the order. There's always going to be a second step that you need to do to make absolutely sure that the order is ready to be sent to us. So you click Submit Survey up here at the top one time. Next, you click the next button down here in the bottom right, and you're shown this screen again, but now you can see a green button at the top. Once you click this, the order will be fully completed and the photos will be sent to us. But before you do that, you want to take a final moment to double check that you are at the right address. And actually in this example, you can actually see the number of photos that are in this grass cut order, so you want to make sure that that number is reasonable. It should be somewhere around 30 photos for a grass cut. So if this was only 5, that would indicate that something didn't go through correctly, and you might want to go back and double check some of your results. But assuming everything looks okay, we're going to click the green button one time. We're going to click yes on this question. And then that's it. We're going to hit the back button one time and go back to our menu and proceed with some more orders. Something to note too is that we just submitted this order 634 as completed, and on your open orders list it still shows as assigned. It may take a short amount of time before it changes to complete as shown here, and then it may take some more time before the order fully disappears off your list and you can no longer see it again. If you ever wanted to go back and review an order that you've submitted with the Pruvan app and it's no longer on your list, you would need to log into your Northsite web portal from a laptop or a desktop. Go into the Submitted Orders filter using the top right button in your screen under the word Filter, and then you'd be able to open it up and view your photos. A common issue you might see is you'll be at this last screen right here. You'll click your Submit Survey button, and the program will bring you back to an earlier question. You'll look at it, it will look correct. You'll click Next a couple times to go back to the end. Click Submit again, and it will bring you back to that question again. And what it's trying to do is it's telling you that there's something missing here that does not meet the minimum requirements. In this example, there's actually two deficiencies. One, we don't have green text right here, which means we didn't take the minimum number of required photos. And two, this order area right here is blank and it needs to be filled in with the word required. So after we fix this, it looks as shown here. We've got green text here and this is filled in with the word required. Now we can click Next and submit the order as completed and click the green button and send the photos.